Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go.
Hey guys, we're here for our 34th podcast. 34. Time flies. And we've got our special guest here, Riser.
Hello.
From On Earth Entertainment.
Woo!
Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be at the Blockstars home HQ.
It's good to have you here, mate. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Riser, do you want to give us a little intro to anyone listening, watching, about yourself, your background?
Music is my thing. I've been in the music industry since I was a little kid. Family comes from, my father started a music wholesale business, and we've got the biggest guitar brand in the world, Valencia Guitars. So
That is so cool.
yeah, so that's just going. I don't know if anyone, you got to play guitar, you guys?
Very, very poorly.
Very little.
Yeah.
No?
I could play Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid at school.
I
So
could do Wipeout.
Wipe that on guitar?
Yeah.
What? That's actually really hard.
Is it? Oh, I thought that was the easiest song you could learn. Well,
Like
you
a
heard it
natural.
here first.
Can you play it for us? I've got a guitar.
Yeah, get it. Oh, that bluff, didn't I?
Definitely next time, Riser. Definitely
Absolutely.
next
I will.
time.
I'll play it and you guys will be shocked. So.
Okay, yeah, I would be. If you could. But yeah, so no, Valencia Guitars is one of our brands, but biggest wholesale distributor in the country. That's my family business, but I've kind of ventured out now into the wonderful world of Web3 and blockchain. And here I am, and I've met some amazing people. In my short, I'm very fresh and green to it, but I can already see the advantages of Web3, blockchain technology in the musical instrument side of the music industry, but also music playing as well, because I'm also a musician and we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
Doing sound therapy, working on hertz frequencies as well. So that's a big thing. And there's, I think you were saying as well, weren't you, before? One of your one of the Blockstars crew.
Max is into it as well. I
Yeah.
think it's one of those things that you go into and you're like, oh wow, man, that worked. Like I was using it for sleep a few years ago, and I'd wake up feeling awesome.
Yeah.
I wake up feeling awesome. Like it's
Well, it's a bit of a science behind that, and I think definitely with the chakras and that you can actually tune into certain frequencies. And it's pretty wild. I'm really getting into that side of things, but then as a musician, artist, there's a business called Ocean 4 Music as well, which really empowering musicians to get into this Web3 block, through NFTs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because traditionally record labels, in the old world would, take away, take all the money pretty much. But this is empowering and giving musicians and artists, for that matter, back, more control over what they do and being able to make a living out of it, which is great through NFTs and getting creative with certain things. Yeah.
So prior to you getting into Web3, if I just go right back to the very start,
sure.
How old were you when you picked up your first guitar?
Guitar, well, I started on piano.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I was 4.
Yeah.
And it was funny because my old man got interviewed not long ago, and that comes from many generations back. And so I was 4, did the piano, and parents made me get up in the morning and play before school and after.
Oh, okay.
But I got sick of it and wanted to get into drums.
Yeah.
Can you play that cool thing, not the piano?
That would be the last thing a parent would want.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it helps when your dad's a musician. Right? So musical family, and then and then got into drums and studied drums for 7 years at a place called Drum Tech. And, been in the music industry my whole life and had to tour, because my dad was so heavily in development for musical instruments. So I'd go through Asia and Taiwan and Japan, even over to Europe, as a little kid. So I've been surrounded by musicians and business for my whole life. But it's really exciting to come into Web3 and the whole blockchain thing is relatively new. I just try to stay up to date with the latest technology and stuff. So
It moves very, very fast.
it's an interesting space, isn't it?
It is
Like
open source decentralization. There you
Absolutely.
go.
Much better than that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Riza, I actually haven't asked you this, but with
Yeah.
Web3 and getting in, and
Yeah.
it's a very loving community when you get yourself in there. That's how we met as well.
It is.
Out the front of NFT Fest,
Yes,
and
we
Riza,
did.
the nicest guy ever, had given someone else's shoes.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yeah, that's how it's,
Yeah.
Riza will literally give you his shoes so you're more comfortable.
Yeah.
And then we didn't bump into each other for a while, and then
We did.
we bumped in again at the CX3 event, which was awesome because we didn't get to speak later on that night.
That's
So I was like, that guy. I
Yeah.
never got to meet him again.
that shoe guy.
Yeah. But how did you find yourself? Like, what was that first step into Web3, or like meeting someone? Was it a friend, or like buying some crypto and then delving in deeper for the music NFT side, or how did that all come together?
That's a good question. Because it was actually my limited experience in web or blockchain or crypto. I had my own little wallet and all that. And went, I'm going to buy XRP and all that stuff, right? Yeah, just kind of. But then a friend of mine who actually lives up here is in touring and promotions, and outside of music, funnily enough, and he was coming to Melbourne, and the Harlem Globetrotters were touring, and at that point, and he managed one of the Harlem Globetrotters, and we met this dude called Oscar, who you might have heard of, who runs a marketing agency down there, introduced me to him because we were going to do some PR for this Harlem Globetrotters. And Oscar and I met. It's like, hey, it's like we hadn't seen each other for 20 years, and he used to work in the music industry.
Yeah.
Used to work for Sony, A&R, and he's like, and then we just formed this relationship, as you said, community, right? And he's like, Web3, man, Web3. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, no worries, Web3. What's Web3? And, but then spent more and more time, and it wasn't, you're right, you brought up the NFT Fest. That was the big game changer. That was the massive one because, met you guys, met Ocean Floor Music at that event as well. That Oshi Gallery was quite a big one because I remember actually I've written an album back in 2010, and we were like going to go tour it and do it in Japan, in the States. And we're like, man, that's a hard life. You know what I mean? And here we were 12 years later at the Oshi Gallery for the NFT Fest, and Cav Templar was playing from Eskimo Joe, and he was saying, he got up on stage and said, it's been hard the last 10 years as a musician, but now, thanks to Web3 and NFTs and all that, we're able to find a way to make money again doing what we love. And Stevie, my mate, who I wrote the album with, we both looked at each other like, wow, this has come like a full, like 10 years. And I was actually looking back then at virtual reality on Alibaba, like goggles going, that's the only way we're really going to be able to make money in the future, because doing that old tour the world and do that, it's a hard grind, But, so to cut a long story short, meeting Oscar, he really got me into the whole Web3 game. And then I've met people like Pacey and, amazing people, Cozzy, you, and here I am talking about this, which is, it is, but definitely the people, the community is awesome. So
it's a big culture, isn't it? Everyone's got their arms wide open as you're coming in, and we're still a small industry. It's still we've made waves over the years, but we're still just a drop in the ocean, as you'd say, Craig.
Drop in the ocean.
Well, there's still so much more potential for what it can do for the music
100%.
industry.
100%.
For many industries, but artists in general.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so have you trialed like making any NFTs or like putting it out there with the music, or where are you at with?
What's actually funny, that's another good question.
Yeah.
Potential with Ocean Floor Music are really, I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but they're really big in this whole NFT space and getting artists on board. So through relationships I've made over the years with certain artists, and that guy I told you about before that lives here, we've all got these connections through the industry, but trying to then onboard artists into and educate them. Me personally, I haven't yet.
Yeah.
But that's something I'll end up doing with my sound healing stuff, and that kind of works in really well with what you hear, like your friend here. that it's becoming more and more spoken about, like sound healing techniques and the 440 hertz frequencies.
Yeah.
Changing that to back to 432, even for mainstream. I think you're going to find, mark my words, you've heard it here first on Blockstars. There'll be lots of, I think, artists re-release songs in different hertz frequencies as well. Like, so yeah, it'll become a trend.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more about that, Riser. Like, I know you know a lot more than me. I've sort of gone like, YouTube, Google, like, these hertz are good for like brain development. And these hertz are good for like a deep sleep, and then there's many more health healing and a lot of stuff out there. But I know you've got the shovel out and you're right down in the bottom there. Yeah.
Well, that began for me back in, actually, I go to music at NAM. And Remo Ballet, who's really famous, he makes drum heads. And he was actually saying back in about 2018, and he'd get up on stage and we'd have a breakfast at Remo. He was talking about, look, the music industry is really becoming overly popular. Like, there's too much going on. So we've got to branch out into different areas, and sound healing and help in that space was something that he mentioned, and it always just stuck in my head. So then I was like, as time went on, and around 2020, I was really I
want to get to this though. This is an awesome one. So thank you.
Yeah. And then around that, they're just really starting to get into this whole hertz frequency stuff, and really understanding. Like, I've been around music therapists and stuff like that, and people, they study hard. It's like an actual science behind all of this, and there's the solfeggio frequencies, which really explains everything in depth as far as, where you can actually target. And you'll see if you just YouTube, but there's a lot of disinformation as well, like everything on the internet. You got to really go into the science. Even on Gaia, there's a big debate between 440 and 432 hertz, where it's what frequency is actually better and in alignment with certain things as well. But
I think I was telling you outside, I was watching a lot of is it Joe Dispenza?
Yes.
And he is amazing. He talks so much about the meditation, the hertz, like how it can, affect depression.
That's right.
I got into it originally when I was studying really long hours, and I was at the end of my course, and I just was so over it. It was so hard to stay, like, my attention was just so low and stuff. But it's really good if you have like any ADHD. Yeah. I was gonna try and work around it, but obviously I have ADHD. It's so much harder for me to study. So I would put that on in the background, and it would just help me focus so much. So if anyone out there does have that problem and they need help, YouTube is full of some great little musical things for study.
It really is. And the frequency seeing is like everything. If you look back to Nikola Tesla's like energy, frequency, and vibration, and music is really profound. Has it? It's the international language. Everyone could kind of, but it's that vibration, and to think that it can actually heal you. It's actually a science and a methodology behind it. So I reckon they'll bring, as I said, I think it's going to become more and more knowledgeable, and people are going to look into it more, and it'll become more mainstream. At the time. So,
well, I know they've done. Sorry, Craig. I know they've done like study on mice playing different music straight for 5-7 days and picking up their reactions and how their attitude changes. Trying different music styles and stuff like that as an experiment.
Well, I think just getting back to Dispenza, because he's really big on the whole, it's like the 2190 thing. It's 21 days to create a new habit.
Yeah.
And then by 90 days, you repeat, because humans, we're creatures of habit, right? A bit like mice. But we like to do the routine thing, but by 90 days, you've got a new lifestyle. So if you do it, it's repetition. It's probably the most important thing, and getting into that routine of doing that.
Didn't they also use that as, sorry to go dark on you guys, but they used it as a form of torture as well. Remember how they'd blare music to torture? Yeah. All right, well, anyway.
What kind of music do you listen to?
I think I did. I remember reading that somewhere, that they used it as a torture technique, like loud, like heavy music, and to make people go crazy, feel like they're going psychotic.
True. That's true. Well, it's just, it goes into the subject. Again, it's Joe Dispenza and Dr. Bruce Lipton as well is another one. Reprogramming the subconscious brain.
Yeah.
So you could do that through sound as well. That's another. Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It's a different world, but I think, emerging technologies as well, like and how does this work with blockchain and all that. But I really do feel that, music and this hertz frequency, they're all kind of merging together. AI is another interesting space.
Yeah. We're far down that rabbit hole. So, Riza, I'd like you to talk about you in 2020.
Yes.
And how you helped out many people.
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. So I'd stepped out of the family business there for a bit, and my wife's cousin, who used to be, you guys will be too young for this, a show called Young Talent Time. Back then, I was a hip hop dancer, and always we just got along really well. And he was always like, "Man, he wanted to go out, and he worked with people with disabilities for his whole life as well. In between doing that, and I used to go to his concerts, and it was one of those real feel good, things. So he said, "Oh, do you want to have a look at it, man?" I went, "Yeah, I did." And I did a feasibility study just before 2020. I went, "All right, let's go," and formed. And I always had On Earth Entertainment, but we called this business Stars on Earth as a part of that, and so we're ready to go. Everything was all cool, like to go out, and then COVID came in 2020, and we're like, "Oh man!" So we kind of had to wind back on that. Now the company Archie was working for were where these people with disabilities would go. I said, "Oh, do you mind doing something on, like, can we do something?" Like, they just, because in Melbourne it was really bad for COVID. It was a lockdown city. We're like, all right, let's do something online. And so I got my head around Zoom, back to front. Yeah. And we did 38 weeks straight on Zoom in my studio at home. And my cuz would come over, and we had like 50 to 100 people up on screen, and we're like doing karaoke, and, we had set programs. And then from there I was like, wow, man. And then that company, the universe does crazy things, right?
Yeah.
And in August that year, they said, look, when we go back face to face, they couldn't do it. So we got like pretty much, we had to still pitch, but we got 65 clients straight away from this business. So it was a ready-made business, ready to go. And we had our first trading in January 2021, and the business is still going now. But it was just such a great thing to do during COVID. And during 21, I was like, I think we're still going to have more lockdowns. So the best part was when we went into lockdown, we still had, we could go online. So it was really cool. And then from there, I was like, I want to create my own On Earth Entertainment app, similar to Zoom, and do these programs. And because I understood Zoom so well, so I was the techie guy doing all that and playing the music. But it's actually, there's a lot of people don't realize this. There's a lot of people in supported accommodation around Australia that I just they get to do much.
It's like lockdown every day.
Lockdown every day, exactly. It's perfect. But even when we had our first live concert too, and it was just like, wow, we did it. It was just such a good feeling. They get up on stage, and so you want to hear about the benefits of music again, and even just performing. So one of the main things I want to do, as a goal of mine, is to actually, there's a science behind it, is to actually get Harvard or some accreditation behind the actual benefits of performing and music, because we saw it, we've seen it, with people that either have autism, and then to see somebody who comes in and so shy, and to get them up on stage performing, to see that is amazing.
It's like that alter ego thing when they get to act like someone else. There are a few studies behind that. Yeah. It's incredible how strong the human mind can be.
Absolutely.
It's so easily swayed. Like music, if you've had a really bad day and driving home or something, turn the radio on and it's your favorite song. It just changes your mood like that.
It's true. But even to get them up on stage, a lot of it, because we're all human, man. It doesn't matter if you got a but we're all one anyway. So, but it's anxiety is the main thing people have, So, but to overcome that, just to encourage them to get up, it's the best thing ever. So,
and where'd you do that? Was that in Melbourne?
That was in Melbourne,
or did you move around and do it?
Yeah, it was at one location.
Yeah,
but the idea was to scale that across the country, which is still on the cards.
Yeah,
Stars on Earth, but there's lots of. It's funny because I was just going to release this app, and then I'm in the back of my head always going NFTs. Web3, and then it's still on hold at the moment. But I think that the app will come because so many people can benefit from it. Yeah.
That is all. I can't tell you how happy I am that you think that I'm not old enough to remember you.
Notice I looked at them and not you. You remember young
Wow.
Tom? Oh wow. Yeah, but it is. I have to check myself sometimes. I don't know. These kids they're smarter than us. That's one thing I've noticed about this industry too. There's lots of very smart people and young, successful people through this, blockchain and crypto stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's also new, so there's
That's right.
the people that are in here now.
Yeah.
Will be the experts. Well, they already are the experts, but you go 10 years from now when it's at a level where I know a lot of people are heard about crypto or been in, and they're not in, but it'll technology will transition and make it a lot easier for people as it goes along. Like
I think so too.
I see every 4 years, the user experience in crypto just is unrecognizable from the previous 4 years. The amount of people, as you said, there's a lot of smart people out there that are very passionate about Web3, like ourselves, all of us here, and a lot more other smarter people that are building those tools that we can use and help people and build businesses and products and you name it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been described to me, it's like the merging of both new worlds almost, and I see so many advantages, music industry, sound healing, like what as an artist or this whole, everything I'm doing, there's so many things that, even is down to like a counterfeiting product and stuff, like integrating stuff like technology, to be able to counteract all that stuff, because it's pretty common in many industries, but music industry is one where that would help too, look, there's so many exciting opportunities to come from this Web3 world, and you guys are leading the charge with a lot of that, aren't you?
So can I ask a question now that you're so excited?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself and what you're doing in 5 years? Like, what direction are you going to take it in? Like, what would you, if everything went perfectly according to plan, what would you like to have seen yourself as creating? Or where would you like to be? Yeah, I mean, with your apps, with the NFTs, like what do you really want to see happen?
Well, I just want to see it benefit, I guess, humanity. Like, it's not about me. It's probably more about like being involved, surrounding myself with the right people, and who've got the same common goals of making the world a better place to live, merging technologies, making it more fairer. Like, it's not so much about what I want. It's probably me and learning from some smart people, who, as I keep saying, learning from even you guys, and so probably just creating, because I'm a creative as well, and creating the new world and making it a better place. That's probably the ultimate goal, and to be a part of that in some shape or form, whether it's music. There's other things too, like if I can help, contribute to that, then bonus. That's probably it in a nutshell.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, because I haven't asked you this one yet, but and let me know if you can't answer too much or you can answer a little bit. Right. That's fine, Rosa. Ocean floor music.
Yes.
What is ocean floor music? What are you doing? What are you trying to achieve? If you could give us a bit of...
Ocean floor music was started by two awesome guys over in Perth, part of the music industry as well, but they've basically gone into creating and helping a label almost in a way, but the new age label for artists to create NFTs, and now created a marketplace as well, and a metaverse, this whole metaverse as well. So it's a really interesting space, and what they're doing is really exciting. So they've already got artists like that Cav Template. That was that event at NFT Fest. That was their launch night there. So my part in that, I met them at NFT Fest when I was wearing no shoes. That's why we get along. I met Sal that night, and from there it's like, because I'm based in Melbourne, and Melbourne being the music hub of Australia, I guess. So I'm the Ocean Floor Music Melbourne guy at the moment. So we want to onboard more artists, get the marketplace going in that area, create community, which is what Web3 is all about, and then but help educate artists as well on getting them involved in the whole NFT space. And so that's Ocean Floor in a nutshell. And so I'm really just the Melbourne arm of that. But Ocean Floor, it's going to go. That's a great business model. And there's people out there like Ocean Floor try to do what they're doing, but they've got a lot of backing behind them. So I think it'll go worldwide.
I think everybody that we speak to has that common theme, and that is educating people on what it is. Because there's the big misconception: as soon as you say blockchain, people assume crypto, and that sort of stuff. So, like I said, it's a common theme whether it's music, whether it's physical art. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's all about education. Is there anything that you guys are doing particularly to try and educate the people that this will help? Because that's really what it is.
It is.
You're trying to get them to help themselves, but they need to know.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the onboarding program that Ocean Floor Music have, we've got assigned people actually bringing people and letting them know. So, and there's like a questionnaire they'll fill out at the start, what do you know about crypto? What do you know? And some people do, but I think it's something like 98% don't. So then that's an educational process on onboarding artists. So I guess from an Ocean Floor Music there, we're educating the artists in that regard. But then in other areas of the music industry, like I think it's been really interesting because it's almost like people are trying to also create it so people don't even realize that they're on Web3. So it's like, oh, really? They don't even know it's an NFT to that point, and using technology. So, it's an interesting, really good question because it's like, well, you've got the actual education. It takes time to educate people, but then there's the other side I've noticed more recently where people try to disguise it, hide it away.
Make it a seamless
transition. So it's interesting times.
And what do you guys do with the metaverse? You're sort of just like, we've got a metaverse too, like.
So look, the metaverse concept is being that was a focus actually when I first met Ocean Floor Music. That was their focus, but now it's more on the marketplace and building that area. But the Ocean Floor, if you could imagine, if you ever get a chance to check out Ocean Floor Music, it's actually on an ocean floor, and creating entertainment areas where people can go and actually watch. And it's this again, bless you, is creating another opportunity. We love creating another opportunity on for artists again say imagine you just sell out a venue, you're playing live, but then you can sell more tickets in the metaverse.
I was about to ask you, I've been sitting here dying to ask, have you attended one of those huge concerts in the metaverse?
I haven't personally, but I've seen and the after effect, and it's massive. It's so big. It's the way I'm excited about it. I think it's another option, and like you said before, there's so many people at home that can't even go to things, and the metaverse is an exciting space. Particularly for entertainment. So Ocean Floor are doing their thing. There's many out there try the metaverse thing, but I think it's going to become more and more common. In years to come.
And I've gone to a metaverse concert myself too.
Wow.
Two actually. The Fortnite one. So it's not like VR or anything, but
Did you get your bag searched on entry?
Nah, there was no check-in. There was no nothing. Just 1 minute I was in the lobby, and next minute I'm in there flying around Marshmallow.
Yeah. Oh, you were at
the
that live one.
Marshmallow. Yeah, I went to that live one, and it was a lot better than another concert. There was no security guards, and you could fly around up in the air and dance with whoever you wanted. And
dance with whoever you wanted. Okay.
You've got to know the game. Never mind, Warren. I'll bring Fortnite in one day, maybe, if I can get it off my kids. And then, there was the Travis Scott one as well, which was the same where, it was sort of like, it made me realize it's like no limitations.
No.
You could put so many cool animations and different events all in the one.
Absolutely.
And it was cool.
It is cool.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, a virtual one.
Definitely.
And if you could do that and have the biggest worldwide concert, I forget the numbers they done, but it was like the numbers that attended that were ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, definitely, if you can tie it into, I think, with the gaming thing, the gaming's obviously massive right now. So that was it the Marshmallow one? That was through Fortnite.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely a world that awaits, and it's exciting. I think, again, like I'll just give you another example, like in Ocean Floor Music Metaverse, there's like music stores where people can go into music stores there, and try musical instruments through that. I know it's in the metaverse, but like then to actually have a physical product, guitar, for example, and you've got a digital version of it as well. You know what I mean? So it's like
digital twin.
Digital twin, exactly.
Imagine, like I know we're still early on the metaverse and it's still beginning, but kids these days they don't think of digital as like if I ask my mum, like, oh, we'll buy this digital thing. Like, why would I buy that? My son, Dad, can I buy this digital bloody skin or outfit? You know what I mean? Or the kids' Roblox. But imagine when there's like a group of friends on the internet and there's these digital musical items and they start their own band in the metaverse and have a metaverse band.
I'm surprised. Has it happened? It probably will. Right?
It probably, It may already be out there.
It actually makes
just
sense.
waiting to.
It probably will happen. I mean, one awesome thing, technology again, advancements. They have a tally MIDI, which is this Ocean Floor Music, created by a guy Matt there. Invented this technology. It's called tally MIDI, and latency is a big problem. But it's called borderless music, where we could be here, and then we could have somebody, and they did this at NFT Fest. They had somebody live in London, and they played live. And latency has always been an issue, but this is playing live, like together. And he just did something where it was in Rwanda. He sent me the video, Rwanda, and they were in a church singing Amazing Grace, and in Canada, Rwanda and Canada, and you could hear it. He sent me the video, and like it's perfect. You know, I mean, there'll always be a latency you can't perfect, but like it's amazing, like the technology. And so bands will be formed, from your lounge room. By people all around the world, isn't it? It's amazing to watch.
The removal of limitation,
removal of
borderless.
Borderless.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
We're really becoming one now. And that's what the honesty up there, where we're all one. That was the slogan's been around since 2006, right? And I see the world we're becoming more and more one. And it's exciting times.
How long has that tech been around?
No, only recently. I mean, people have tried, especially COVID, I think.
Yeah, because I saw some bands through COVID that tried to do that type of thing as well.
Yes.
Some of them did okay, others not so much.
It's hard. It's hard thing.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
it would look really simple, but you're right. I mean, it's like a web page. Nobody wants it to take more than 2 seconds for the page to come up.
Yeah.
But if you pick up your phone and dial a phone number, people will happily stand there for 5 or 6 seconds waiting for the call to connect.
Yeah.
But it's different when it's visual. But then when you get to the audio, it has to be exactly in sync. So it's a big problem to solve.
I think scientifically, I'm not a scientist, but I don't think they can eliminate the latency component. But what Matt's done from Ocean Floor and this borderless music, this tally MIDI technology, has really limited that. So, and you can see it's amazing. Like, it's exciting, man. Like, to see where it's all
the future.
The future. Yeah. Like live gigs from your bedroom. You don't have to leave home.
Cool. Have you just disintermediated roadies? Or?
No, there'll always be a need for roadies.
Okay.
It's really important. But it's still gear required, right?
Yeah.
You move my modem to the left.
It right.
Move my modem to the left. Yeah, exactly. But it's definitely from a music entertainment space. So, getting into any form of entertainment from my perspective. But as I said, anything that's going to help advance the world and make it better, then hopefully I'm there.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Dude.
And coming into your baby on Earth Entertainment as well. What can people see coming in
From
the
that?
future?
Well, I mean, aligning ourselves with Ocean 4 Music is one part of it. You know, the app, I think, will really, in the NDIS space, is something. So that's something, as I said, like a bit like a Zoom product. But yeah, look, I mean, that was the rollout of this Stars on Earth business across the country. There's such a demand for that. So yeah, there's lots of then on Earth. There's also got different little arms on it, you know, of like even fashion and stuff like that, which all integrate with entertainment in a way, like music and stuff. So yeah, there's a fashion side of it, you know. So and musical instruments too, which has been my bread and butter for or what I've grown up in my whole life. So you know, merging technology into that space as well is something that, and artists as well. So really, I don't know in an essence, but it'll fall under music and entertainment, and who knows? Like it's just as I keep meeting more people in this space, it's just new ideas create and get developed, and it's exciting. You know, even creating podcast, what you guys are doing here is awesome. You know, like meeting new people and you know, just building a community. You know, around even entertainment and music. So the marketplace too, I will say that with Ocean 4 Music is really like, remember MySpace? These guys.
Yeah, MySpace.
Joe, you remember MySpace?
I don't, sorry.
Oh, now you're making me feel like
MySpace, remember that?
I just wanted to look,
The marketplace there is pretty cool on Ocean 4. So yeah, look, that's I dare say in 5 to 10 years we'll be doing something in music or entertainment. That's almost guaranteed.
yeah. It's actually funny. I remember there's a meme around the internet, and it's from a Twitter post where some young girl or guy, and they're like, what would be really cool is if you could have your favorite song attached to your profile. Yes. So when people visit your profile, they'll hear your favorite song. And then there was a comment underneath like, man, I am this old now. Because he was from the MySpace
era,
where you'd have your top friends and you'd be able to change your song. And it was a good time, Laurie.
It's gone full circle, hasn't it?
I don't know if you've seen recently, like there's artists now, like when they're you can write the lyrics, it'll sing it through AI.
Yes.
Sing it through there,
Oh, they're having so many issues with that. Like when it comes into like, intellectual property and stuff. Like they recently, I was telling you guys about that the other day, they had launched, and before the record label could realize, it was like an AI song with Drake and someone else. None of them were involved. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to, it's good, but it's also going to create so many complications. I think, who was the other one? David Guetta put a song with Eminem in it.
Oh, he done that really cool. Have you heard that one?
I've heard about it. I didn't know the
exact details. The song's actually pretty good. But
It's an interesting thing, and you'll always get one of two arguments I find at the moment, and that is somebody that will have used AI to either create art, be it audio or visual or whatever it is, and people say, well, you don't deserve that. The AI actually owns it. They're like, no, the AI is just a tool. It's mine. Until it breaches, IP or copyright. It's like, no, it was the robot.
But then it also begs the question, like, do you own your own voice? Has that ever been like argued in court? Like, you own your thoughts to an extent, but like, surely you can like copyright the lyrics to a song, but what about protecting your voice? Like, this is going to be a whole new area. I don't know why I got so excited, but I am. Like,
I'm not either, but I am.
Because they're going to sue them now. Like, they can't release it. They're not saying that it is Eminem. Just sounds like Eminem. Yeah. So, looking forward to these legal battles.
Was it like a 3-second sample or something that it needed to be able to recreate?
Yeah. But the other thing is the danger of it. Now you've got all these kids on TikTok. We talked about this the other day, sorry. But you've got all these kids on TikTok, on Instagram. People, if you have put anything on the internet with your audio on it, people can actually get it And now,
mute the mic right now.
yeah, but people can actually get that, and scammers are using it to access your bank accounts. People have been ringing, like taking a child's voice off a TikTok video, ringing their parents, asking for ransom, as though that kid has been kidnapped. It was on the news the other night, and it sounds exactly like them.
Well,
so like, you know, with everything that's good, there's always the power to abuse it, and there's the dangers. So it's going to open up all of these new areas that we never had to worry about before, especially with all those voice recognition for the governments and stuff. Like, do you want, say yes, and we will now recognize you by your voice.
Well, that's what they say even with your phone now, you know, leaving a message bank, like they say your name and stuff, you know, because they can just record that.
Well, just off your...
That's why that's Ronald McDonald when you call me. I say it's Ronald McDonald. Thanks for calling McDonald. But no, it's... yeah, it is. But CGI has also been, I don't know if you've seen the fake, CGI technology, it's crazy the way technology is. You can grab our faces and put it down with the voice as well.
Exactly. You can frame
about deepfakes.
Deepfakes, there we go. That's what you did.
Yeah. That was a joke.
Because even now I've seen, maybe over the last few days, week, is... the text to video stuff coming out. Where like now it's like people will be able to make their own movies and then get the voice of certain actors
but they did that, didn't they recently?
And it's growing so quick.
They recently trialed that with a video of what was that? Actually, I read it recently. They have like done a little version of it, and they used his voice, and he didn't even have to act in the movie.
Wow.
So, do you think? Let's have a debate about this. Do you think this will dampen creativity? Like now, people don't need to learn how to act. They don't need to do all that stuff. These musicians now can make entire like records and songs without even actually doing it anymore. They record their voice, and now that's it. I was good this year. I'm going to make a hit.
I think anybody that's creative and enjoys the creative process will continue to do so, and it will be of a higher quality than what you would get elsewhere. But my concern is not that people won't be as creative. I think that the markets or just the space will be just completely
saturated.
Saturated.
I think one thing I keep hearing more and more about in this space, you guys will probably know more than me about this, is the digital ID component. Like creating our whole digital ID component to that. So I dare say voice recognition, you know, it's almost like DNA in a way, you know, so sound, and I think that could be, so there'll always be a way also to try as much as you were right, like it's going to always be a negative, there'll always be, I think we're smart too to try to capture that so that we don't
do you know what, honestly I think it's going to be one of the many fantastic uses of blockchain, because that is how people will be able to verify identity, verify voices, verify a lot of things. Blockchain.
Did you say blockchain?
Yeah, blockchain.
Make sure to call Blockstars for any questions. But I agree with you, Craig. I think there's going to be people that love making music, like Riser. You just enjoy it. It's part of you. You love it. You'll be making music.
So AI.
Yeah, but I think you'll see there'll be people who just love making music, don't care about the AI, I want to do it originally.
Exactly.
Then there'll be people, like I'm even seeing with artists now, where for NFT artists, like artwork, where they're like now deciding to embrace the AI, where like they're like, this is my hand-drawn painting, but I'm also going to use AI and release certain pieces of art as well daily. So there's like the hybrid model.
Yep.
And then there'll be the Charlies that aren't very talented and can't draw anything, can't sing anything except for my go-to karaoke song, Tequila.
Yeah.
I'll tell you tomorrow night if it's your
And I'll play around with it and release nothing ever. But I'll play around and see how the technology works. And I don't know, what do you think, Riser, about, you know, like AI is good, but I don't think you're going to be able to get exactly what you want. You know, when you've got something in your mind and it's like, it's got to be like this, and you can picture it.
You know, one thing you can't replicate, my best mate told me this, my music writing partner, you know, and It's so true. Like you can't replicate. So even as an artist, like there's a chemistry, say, between him, myself, and my other mate, best mate Emil, and like we've got this thing, just the three of us, and we create this band or this sound that, you know, no matter how much it's the energy that the three of us individually put into that creates that, right?
The whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
No, go.
Would you think that feeling is benefiting you guys in creating it? But what about the, you know?
I think the sound that's emanating too, that comes out, you can't replicate that sound because the three, and there's little, it's not perfect. Like if you listen to, I hope I get in trouble for this, but like a Maroon 5, like it's like a perfect live band. Like it's just, there's flawless. There's like no mistake. When I heard, I'm like, that's so bad. Like, maybe, sorry if you're a Maroon 5 fan, but it's just perfection to a degree. And there's so many plugins as for music. Like you can replicate sounds into that. It's the energy. That's one thing that even I don't think we'll be able to replicate us. Like you are you, you are you, you are you, you know? And you guys create Blockstars, right? Blockstars would not be Blockstars if it was a robot, you know? You know what I mean? Like you've all got your own collective energy that makes it so cool to work here, you know?
I know you try ask Chat GPT for a joke and it just it's no good at jokes and it's no good at humour. It's got no emotion. That I tell you, no character.
I think although, like we said, the market could end up saturated, it may then increase the value of anything that's actually human made.
Exactly.
It would be exactly like, you know, getting a hand sculptured statue in stone as opposed to something that's been cranked out of a mold 400 times.
100%. Look, I see advantages. I heard it. Try to keep my eye on AI, quantum computing, like we were talking about yesterday. But trying to stay up to date with all the technology, this whole time. But it's like AI is an interesting. I see advantages too because, you know, I mean, they talk about big job losses and stuff like that with AI, but, you know, I've run businesses too, you know, and it's staff humans we're just humans and we get sick and we get, you know, things happen. But things happen. But, you know, AI will help in certain areas for business, which is going to then, it's going to help productivity, which is going to help mankind long term, which means, you know, so look, there's benefits as well, I see.
So if you use it as a tool to do the mundane stuff to give you more time to be creative.
Yeah, exactly. And time for, you know, everyone in general. And I think, definitely learning more about blockchain too.
I think one of the most important things to remember is that the AI will not give you a choose.
No.
Never choose.
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said issues.
That's what I thought.
I missed that one. That was good.
I heard you, Craig. And just to give everyone a background on Riser not having shoes the first time I met him.
I've still got issues.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Riser, but there was a guy at the NFT Fest after party.
Correct.
And he lost his shoes that day.
Correct.
And he wasn't allowed in. So Riser took his own shoes off and said, "Here you go, mate. Go onto the after party."
And do you know what I have to do? The guy on episode number 33 of this show, Mike Spalding, I borrowed his shoes, so he had no shoes on at one point, so I could get out to give him my shoes. That's a true story.
I did not know that.
Did you sneak back in? Did one of you have shoes in the party?
Me at the end.
So you got back in with Hilly's shoes on and then gave
Hilly's
back
shoes,
to Hilly.
that's right. And then I ended up leaving with no shoes, with Mike Pace.
Yeah.
And then got the call back, and then I met Ocean Floor Music. From there, I got my shoes back. And now I'm here.
Sounds like an awesome world tour, man.
Oh, it was awesome. It was a whirlwind. NFT Fest was the start of the dream, and I think more of these events, because there's a few up here too, isn't there? Up in the Gold Coast, you guys have not NFT Fest, but blockchain and.
We do our monthly meetup first Tuesday of every month. If anyone wants to come along, it's free. We have beers, pizza, wine, and a good community where everyone just likes to talk. You don't have to be experienced, or you don't even have to know what blockchain is. But come along if you want to check it out. It's at the Island in Surfers Paradise, second Tuesday of every month.
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday, sorry, not second.
I'll say I did go to that. And it was really well done because the way you guys are educating people, and it was well done. So yeah, well, congrats.
Thank you,
I
Rosa.
highly recommend going if you want to learn more.
Yeah. And now we're coming up to the 1 hour. Where can people find you? Where can they find anything you're working on?
And that website right there. Or usually at a bar with you.
Yep.
I'm probably more for my music stuff on Instagram under Riser, which is R15ER, but On Earth Entertainment. That's the main website there that you'll be able to track me down. That's about it. So thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
No, it was great having you here, mate. And thank you for being up on the Gold Coast at this time and coming into the office to jump on the podcast.
Coming up especially for the podcast.
Well, it was just
that's dedication.
The whole thing was just to be here with you guys. So
that
we could talk. And I don't know if anyone's benefited from this, but
we have.
You have.
I have. I personally have.
Yeah, I have.
Thanks for honestly putting together it's such a great program.
But before you go, can you just tell us, we've got a couple of minutes left, well, me especially, a little more about the sound healing.
Yes. So, so with my own stuff, and funnily enough, it's amazing who you meet. It's very Sam from Ocean 4 Music. He's been doing this for years too. So I believe, in all honesty, it's going to, like I said before, mark my words, it will happen that it's going to become our mainstream music in the radio waves is recorded in 440 hertz, so 4032 hertz is a better sound. You can hear the difference. You can really hear the difference. Yeah. But sound healing is becoming. I've noticed even just being up here this last week, there's more and more crystal shops around and sound bowls and stuff like that, which is. So it's becoming more and more spoken about. We were talking about chakras and stuff before, which fall in line with every religion. So energetic. We're all energy, right? Really, it's energy, frequency, vibration. The Tesla model, and so to realign your chakras and to specifically know that I can record in a certain frequency that's going to help unblock certain chakras. To help you feel better, basically. It's like a cleansing, and it really does. Like I've got in rooms in my house, like sounds and frequencies going in different rooms, and lots of people are now. So it's the way of the future, I think. So if there's heaps of information out there about that, and that's something as well, which will feature on the On Earth Entertainment website too. So
awesome,
good stuff, beautiful. Was that it?
Yeah, that was perfect. That's
okay. Cool.
Well, thank you for coming on,
Thank
Riza,
you
for our
Legends.
34th episode. It
34.
was great to have you, mate, and great insight into your journey into Web3 and what you're doing. And I can tell with the frequencies, you've got the most positive attitude, mate. So, hey, it's working.
Hey, man,
Riza's evidence.
Frequency. It's pretty weird, eh? It is awesome. No, thanks for having me, and thanks for putting together.
No, if you're ever back up, please come along.
Thank
we'll
you.
Have you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Riza. And thank you guys for listening in. And whether you're live or you're watching this afterwards, follow Riza's Instagram. Check out On Earth Entertainment. Look at that website. Look at that website in the background.
Put the sound on. It's better with the music.
I think it's the way the
I
wish I had.
It's in a frequency that'll blow your mind.
Next podcast, man, you're on. We're getting that frequency going.
Let's do it. We're gonna write the Blockstars song or what?
Yes. Leave it as a surprise.
Sorry. And thanks also to Kazi, who's out there somewhere as well.
Yes.
Without him, obviously. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.